The Brief, the daily news podcast from WABE, amplifies Atlanta and keeps you connected to the local stories that affect your life. Listen and subscribe now on WABE.org or your favorite podcast platform.
The weekly lesson, so tune in, I said, Sunday morning at 8 a.m. for the Sunday school teacher. I'll be waiting for you.
Tune in Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 10:30 to listen to the Sustainable Brown Girl Radio Show, hosted by me, Ariel Green. Each week, we'll learn ways to be more sustainable in our everyday lives. We'll discuss exciting environmental news, ways to get involved locally, and we'll hear from women of color who are saving the planet in their own unique ways. Be sure to listen to the Sustainable Brown Girl Radio Show every Thursday at 10 a.m.
Hey everybody, Brian Snow here, and coming soon to WQEE 99.1 FM, it's the show where sports is the base and life and fun are the results. I talk a lot about sports, but a lot about everything else too, and it's all packaged into a fine 1-hour package for you. It's the Brian Snow Show, beginning Monday, February 27th on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key.
This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help overcome barriers that prevent their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy. Please visit our website at www.familypatternsmatter.org.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele.
Hello and happy hump day, people. It is Wednesday. It's 11 o'clock. I am Trish, your host, the Mobile Chaplain. I'm bringing you a great show on today. Today I have a great special guest that'll be with us, Mr. Punchelis Jackson, and we'll be talking about, like my show, Hope, Healing, and Inspiration. We are ending Black History Month, so we'll be talking about some Black history, and we'll be talking about helping the community, ways we can help the community and things going on in the community. So, welcome, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. I appreciate being here this morning.
Okay. All right. Tell the people in Radio Land, we on 99.1 WQEE. Tell the people who you are, Mr. Jackson, and what you do.
Okay. My name is Punchelis Jackson. I'm the Executive Director of Uplifting People, an organization which helps ex-offenders and those who have been impacted by the criminal justice system successfully transition out of that system and become productive citizens again that can be respected in our communities. We do that by tackling the three major barriers to reentry, which would be housing, transportation, and employment. We look to help men get actively involved in their children's lives, to legitimate their children, put themselves on child support, set up their visitation schedules, things like that, because we want to break the cycle. We want to keep our youth from entering the juvenile system and becoming products of our criminal justice system as well. I'm also a mentor for the Department of Juvenile Justice, where I go into the juvenile system and I speak to the youth and try to get them to see where they can be productive citizens once being released from the juvenile system. I help them to get on track with their education. I also reach out to various members of the National Panhellenic Council, fraternities and sororities, to get them involved, helping individuals just to have direction and pathways to see what success could actually look like and see that they actually can transition into a successful lifestyle again. We look to help men and women who have been impacted by the criminal justice system transition into careers and not jobs. You hear a lot of people talking about how we want to help those who have been formerly incarcerated get jobs. And I don't agree with that. I think we need to help individuals to become career-oriented, because you can't be a successful, productive citizen after coming out of the criminal justice system making minimum wage or just a little bit over. There's a lot of obstacles that stand in your way. But as we produce those successes and get people to be productive citizens again, we then look to take them back into the criminal justice system so that they can speak about their success and get individuals whom are currently incarcerated to see that it is possible they can be successful if they just take the right path and do the right thing.
That's good. That's good. And a program like this is needed because we're living in a time where our youth is just ridiculous. Where I live in Columbus, from last Friday until Sunday, we had 17 shootings. 17 people got shot. 10 of them were kids. The youngest was 5 and the oldest was 17. 10 kids getting shot. They at the store shooting each other. And it's just getting out of hand to where we need people to stand up, and we need communities to come together. I don't care your race. I don't care what you believe. It's time for people to come together, because the communities and the youth is just getting out of hand, and they headed to prison and they have no direction. So what do you think, Mr. Jackson? How can we come together as a community like you do it? I know other people that's doing it. I know people that want to do it. How do we come together and help this problem?
Well, I believe it will start with us collaborating, us coming together in our communities and putting our ideas together and coming up with actual game plans in which we then reach out to those who are on those paths to destruction, and we get them to see that there are other ways. Unfortunately, our media, our music, various things like that promote violence. They promote the fact that killing and dealing and stealing and, various things that are crimes are cool. It's promoted that that's what's accepted. But unfortunately, those that are promoting those things aren't doing them. They're just talking about it, because the ones that are doing it are actually incarcerated or on the pathway to incarceration. And I'll just go a little further with that. I was actually incarcerated myself.
Yes.
In 2001, I was sentenced to 30 years to serve 15 for drug trafficking with $1 million fine. I served 6 years, 1 month, and 11 days before making parole. While I did that time, I spoke to various people who were incarcerated with me. And for those who had returned, I would often ask them, what made you come back to this? What made you want to do it again? And I got a pretty much general consensus in my answers. Most people said the same thing. And that was, I didn't want to, but I gave up. Nobody wanted to give me a chance. Every time I tried to get a job, my criminal background check came back negative, and they always told me, sorry, we can't hire you. And if I did get a job, it wasn't making much money by the time I paid fines, fees, restitution, child support, and then tried to pay rent. Barely had enough money to even put gas in the car to go to work, if I even had a car at all to catch public transportation. So with that being the case, when I was released, I then became employed. And after becoming employed, I moved up to management. And I was in a position to not only hire where I was working, but get individuals hired throughout the state of Georgia at various other locations, because I had those type of relationships built with other VPs and general managers. And I would reach out to various probation officers and parole officers whom I had come in contact with while under supervision and tell them if they had individuals on their caseloads or in their districts that needed employment, to have them to give me a call, because I could not only get them hired at my location, but any location throughout the state. And what I found is that my phone wasn't ringing. I wasn't being sent individuals. And that alerted me, because I said, I know people need a chance. Why aren't they sending me these particular individuals so that they can then become employed and become successful citizens again? Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, the fact of the matter was, not everybody who was a supervisor wanted those that they were supervising to be successful. Because if you have everybody being successful that's on their caseload, then you have less of a need for a supervisor. So we have to change that. We have to give incentives to the supervisors so that those that they are supervising can become successful, and they can be rewarded for providing the direction for those individuals to become successful. We have to provide incentives for those that are being supervised to be successful, so that they can see that it's a pathway to being successful again and taking care of their families and be reunited with their families and productive citizens in our community, things like that, so that we paint the picture of what success looks like. We have to stop painting the picture to our youth that the way to being popular and successful is by being a thug and a killer.
Right.
No, that's not true. You know?
Yeah.
But again, we have to start to provide those images to our community so that individuals can see that it is possible. Because I can tell you, the path that I took to get to where I am now, it wasn't easy. I've been terminated from jobs because I worked too hard and too much. I was a threat to other individuals who were higher than me because they thought I was trying to take their job, when really I was just trying to take care of myself and my family. But they didn't understand my drive because they hadn't been where I was. Mm-hmm. When I terminated supervision and had my rights restored so I can become a voting citizen again, because yes, I do have my voting rights. I'm a licensed gun permit carrier. I have a U.S. passport after having served all of that time in prison. But I did that because I petitioned to the courts for restoration of rights and termination of all supervision. And I can tell you, when I filed that petition and I appeared in front of the judge, I was the last person called on the docket that day.
Right.
And that was because if you didn't know what I was in there to do that day, you wouldn't have knew what I just accomplished. Because when the judge called my name, he called me, I stood up, he read off my name and the docket number, and he said, granted. He didn't read off what he was granting me or what I had just accomplished. But unfortunately, if you don't do your research, you won't know that there are opportunities for you to become successful again after having been impacted by our criminal justice system.
Right.
But we have to start to produce those success stories and make it publicly known so that our youth can see that being a criminal, being a thug, that isn't cool. That isn't the way of life. It's actually modern-day slavery. You work 5 days a week, no less than 8 hours a day, and the only thing you're paid is a peanut butter sandwich and a meat sandwich and a piece of fruit, one of which you probably wouldn't eat on your hungriest day out here. And if you're sick and you don't want to go to work, which is called a detail, you don't have a choice. Because if you don't have a sick call put in where you can go to the nurse, you're going to work that day. And if you don't go to work that day, you're going to the hole, which is isolation. And after you come out of isolation, you're going back to work. Right. Those are your only choices.
Right. Mr. Jackson, I want you to, you're the executive director of Uplifting People. And I love what you do because a lot of people don't know my story. I had a best friend who got released from prison. His name was Daniel Shelton. He was released from prison October 30th. By January 5th, he was dead from a drug overdose. And he was my best friend in the world. So I want you to talk to people that have been, because on this show we give hope. Somebody who's in the street now, you've been to prison, you got out, and you have just given up. You back in the streets, you back on drugs, and that's all you know how to do. You don't know the way. You don't know how to be a productive citizen. Give somebody like that who may be listening some encouraging words on how they can become a productive citizen, because it is a person like you, Mr. Jackson, out here who has an organization that can help people with this issue that they're having. They don't have to be on the street. They don't have to be on drugs, selling drugs again. They don't have to be jobless. They don't have to be homeless. Just give them some encouragement on how they can get their lives together, because it's a problem in Atlanta where you at. It's a problem in Columbus where I am. We got people on the street. They've been in prison. They're homeless. They don't know how to get a job. And a lot of them been in prison so long, because I used to teach a class called I Need a Job, where we taught them job skills. A lot of them don't know how to read. They don't know how to write. And I met one man, he hadn't had a job since he had been locked up so long. The last time he had a job, he was making $3.75 an hour. That was a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? So give the people some encouragement on how they can become productive citizens, and let them know there is hope for them, you know?
Okay. Well, I would start by saying, first of all, even if you don't see value in yourself, think about who you love more than you even love yourself, whether that may be your mother, your child, your brother, your best friend, anybody. Think of anybody outside of yourself who matters more to you than even yourself. And with that being the thought process, think about how the pain that you put yourself through, or you doing damage to yourself or your body, think about the pain that it's going to put them through with you having been putting yourself in that type of position. Then, as far as anything that you may need assistance with, whether it may be housing, employment, putting food on the table, know that there are various religious organizations and communities that will assist you. Don't feel bad to just go to a local church or a local synagogue or any type of religious community. Knock on the door and just ask to speak to the leader and tell them that you would like to seek assistance. People will help you. People will help you obtain skills. You can volunteer to work for somebody who has their own business. Nobody's going to argue with having someone work for them voluntarily. And in volunteering for that particular position, you can then obtain a skill. And after obtaining that skill set, you can then become an entrepreneur, working for yourself, doing that same particular skill that someone trained you at no cost at all. There are also programs that the city, county, and state will offer you various scholarships to take various trades and learn various skill sets. But you have to seek the resources and do your research, even if that means walking to your local library and logging onto the computer in the library and just typing in some key search words, looking for assistance. People want to help, but a lot of people just don't know where to start. And I invite you, if you just have some questions, reach out to me. Go to my website, upliftingpeople.org. Send me a message, pjackson@upliftingpeople.org. And I'll respond to you. I'll reach out to you. Send me your number. If I don't have the resource for you right then, I'll do the research to get it to you and follow up with you. Because people are looking for the answers. And I can tell you the answers to it are with those who've been through it. Because as I said, as we get through it and we circumvent all the pitfalls, then we have to be the resources for others who also want to be successful. And then as we become successful, we have to help others to follow our path. Mm-hmm. But we have to change the pathway that we're on now because our youth are definitely lost out here. They're out here trying to live out images and stories of what they think life should be, when really that's not the truth. For anybody who's been through this criminal justice system, they can tell you that a lot of those facades definitely aren't true. But it starts with us. And for those in the community who haven't been through the system but have resources that can help those of us who have, feel free to connect so we can form those relationships.
Mm-hmm. That is true, and I'm just grateful. I'm attest to this. Where there is pain and your greatest struggle, there you will find your purpose. And for you to have been through the prison system, the criminal justice system, and come out and now have found purpose by uplifting people and helping people that's been through the same thing you've been through, I think that's just awesome. Like I said, I lost my best friend. He spent 7 years in prison, and you would think prison would be somewhere where you can be rehabilitated. You could do all of this stuff, but in reality, when my best friend was in prison, he was getting more drugs in prison than he was getting on the street. So we, as people out here who have been impacted and have had some type of dealings with it, I think it is good that we have organizations like you. I actually want to start a reentry program. I'm working with a doctor in Columbus now. I help him So for a person like me who wants to get involved, give me some advice, Mr. Jackson.
I would say connect with others whom also have that purpose, who also have that desire. You all sit down and map out a game plan. Start to speak with individuals whom have been impacted by that system and see what their needs are. And from the answers that you get from those needs, see what you are able to actually provide to help assist with those needs. And then build from there. Because I can tell you, the reality of it is there's no rehabilitation in the prison system. It doesn't make you better. If anything, I would argue that it actually makes you worse. Mm-hmm. Prison is actually criminal college. You can get your PhD in criminology after doing time in the criminal justice system, because you can actually learn from every individual in there as to what they did wrong so that you don't do the exact same things that they did to get caught. You can get an example from someone that's from all over the state that you're in, if you're in the state system, from all over the United States, if you're in the federal system, as to what they did wrong, as to why you shouldn't do the exact same thing. You can also get connections throughout the state or the U.S. because you have people from all over that you're dealing with on a daily basis. But the one thing that, from my experience, I can say that makes a difference is actually having connections to those out here who care about you even more than you care about yourself. Having connections to those out here that you see the pain that it causes them for you to not be out here with them. For you to see the sacrifices that they have to make to try to support you, to accept your collect calls that are astronomically high, to travel the road to come to visit you, to write you letters and, just support you in any type of way. That's what changes you, because you actually see the pain that it puts them through. Mm-hmm. And if you really love them, that's going to have an impact on you even more than the time that you're doing for your own self. And those are the things that actually pushed me to do the things that I'm doing now, trying to help others. Mm-hmm. Because I saw how people just needed some direction and some hope and some guidance. And I said, well, if I can do that, then that's the purpose God has me going through this for. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. Because for me, the thing that hurt most, more than anything, and which was the oxymoron to everything that I have been through, was that particular move I made that day was about my son. I was in the process of buying 3 properties, 2 investment properties, and 1 to move him and his mother to the state of Georgia so that I can be in his life daily. Mm-hmm. And it actually took me out of his life for 6 years. And that's time that I can never get back.
Right.
And for that, I said, if I can keep somebody else from going through that, then let that be my purpose. Because where I was trying to be more involved in my child's life, I actually lost that time out of his life. And that was the punishment that not even the criminal justice system could give me.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I actually have been planning, and I'm looking for a location. I want to do a community networking event called We Are the Change, where people like you, me, other leaders, people with nonprofit organizations come together and unify and come up with a solution together to help different communities. I'm talking about Atlanta, Columbus, LaGrange. It's just a statewide call for leaders, whether you're clergy, like you said, sororities. We all need to come together, and I'm planning it, and I know and hope, well, I hope and know you're going to be a part of it, Mr. Jackson.
Oh, yeah. I'll be a part of it. Just make sure that I have the information. Because as I said, that's the only way we're going to make a difference and actually get people to see that this is something that they should be involved with and make investments and donations too. That's the only way we're going to bring about the changes. But it can be done. But we have to come together as a community and make it happen.
Okay. All right, Mr. Jackson. Tell the people in Radio Land one more time how they can go to your page and read and hear and see and everything about your organization, Uplifting People. Tell them how they can reach you.
Okay. Well, I can be reached via email at pjackson@upliftingpeople.org. I can be reached via phone at 404-536-3343. And our website is www.upliftingpeople.org.
Okay. Well, all right, Mr. Jackson, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I'll be in touch with you on the community event that we're going to have. We come together and help these broken communities. I'll speak with you later.
Okay, I appreciate you all having me. Let's continue to build. Thank you. You all have a wonderful day.
You too, Mr. Jackson. Okay, people, that has been our show today. I just want to say something about Black History, because Black History Month is ending. We're just going to highlight Alice Coachman. She was the first African-American woman from any country to win an Olympic gold medal in 1948. Happy Black History Month, people. Next week on the show, we're bringing back Gabrielle Denise, and we're going to have a male also talking about singleness. So it's going to be a great show. We have a great lineup for the month of March. Also, one more thing. If you go on Seeds of Hope with Trish, you could get $25 off any hotel booking if you just get the app, follow the link, get the app. Have a great day, people. I love you all. I am Trish, the Mobile Chaplain on 99.1 WQEE.
Options are a beautiful thing. That's why I'm obsessed with my McDonald's order. It's ever-changing, but always me. And right now, it's only $3.49. So I can pair a tasty double cheeseburger, a delicious 6-piece chicken McNuggets, or golden crispy small fries for just $3.49. My order might change depending on my mood, but that feel-good taste of Mickey D's is always the same. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Don't take chances. If a drug didn't come from a pharmacy directly to you, you can test for fentanyl by using a simple strip you can pick up at your local pharmacy. Don't take it until you test it, because fentanyl can be hiding anywhere.